about to fuck you by me, talking to me and shit. If I can't reminisce about something that came out of me and shit, why don't you mind your motherfucking business and get the fuck up? Cause you seem to be reminiscing about me. I don't remember growing up with you. You was the only motherfucker I don't like. Step the fuck off. You and whoever looked like that person that was on the ship. Y'all came out in different times. Don't mean shit. Hey, what's up? I'm older than y'all. Ugh, what happened? Girl killed people. Killed some kids, poisoned with rat poisoning. Gonna call herself trying to steal some food. Found out she only 17. Her father is the chief. He was looking out for her. He had a heart attack. We were at the door. Last person to see was guess who? 10 days later, he decided to turn himself in. For not saying nothing in the first place. So one of those people was his relative. Therefore, she killed his relative. I don't know. But that did happen, right? Because I was like, hey. She was like, oh yeah, this person had all these kids and they sent a lot of them out here. And this was how it was all day. So I noticed the old people stopped showing love. So I went up in their house and poisoned them with rat poisoning. Poison their candy bar, knowing that these old people would give them the candy bars to eat because that's what they did to me. And after I did that, she says, she went on about her business. Then a week later, she goes to church and comes out and she looks and notices ain't nobody at church. So she started getting a hint what she did and walked to the next neighborhood and hid out. Her father found out and hit her, and nobody knew about it. So she gains a lot of weight and she's all big and shit. And the thing is like one of my kids had went and I had the WIC papers and he ate the papers, right? So he ate the papers. Then they snatch him away from me, stab him up, take the papers out, and then they use the papers in Chicago. And this woman ain't supposed to give nobody no shit that ain't got their name on it. Well, she gave it up. She gave my stuff up, and then they try to be like, we don't give a fuck how many kids you got. Since somebody else used your shit, you no longer qualify for this. And I was like, but I'm standing right here and you know got all these kids to feed. I don't give a fuck about your kids, blah, 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 blah. So, after that situation and shit, now we chilling at this house or this abandoned ass place and Lord behold, I'm starving my ass off right now. I get ready to eat, and all I can feel is those kids popping up. And I'm sitting there damn near dead, and they just this one just keeps on doing much, right? Had 10 kids, woke up, found I only had 8 kids. What happened to the other 2? Oh, this badass ate them. What happened to the paper to go get some food? Oh, this badass ate them. I don't even give a fuck. Ha ha, I ate it all. Ha ha. Then the last thing I remember is old dude popping up like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, teaching him something. Then and they're like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, you ain't helping, you can go, get out of here, blah blah blah. And I was like, what, for real? This bullshit? And I'm taking off, and this motherfucker jumps from the top of the building and does the parkour kick and shit I was watching yesterday on Prime and shit. It hits me, boom, ha ha ha, I did a kick on him. And who's the main motherfuckers that's annoying me? Period. It ain't the other ones. You know. So I stuck around and shit. Just went over there. And I'm sitting on my stoop. I'm kicking it. Right, and that wick shit happens. So, after that shit, I'm rolling around the neighborhood and this female wolfing, right? So I noticed this female been sitting here. She supposedly had 3 kids. Ain't none of them came out. Ain't none of them been kicking it. And find out she's getting a check for each one of the kids and starved them to death just to stack money and shit, right? So, I noticed what she was doing. So I went and made me something to eat. Ate, got full. Couldn't do nothing about that with the aerosol can. Pardon. Right. And so next thing you know, I sit up on her stoop where she's hiding out at. And I'm already full and shit. My kids is eating and shit. And so on and so on. So I'm good. At least I was hoping they was eating, because since I ain't there to notice what the fuck they do, or they don't want me over there, there's nothing I can do about that, right? So I'm sitting out there and oh yeah, this is some good food. She walk out, what you doing eating? And she snatches it and starts eating. Boom. So she's eating. So I pop up over there in the morning time. Boom. Powdered eggs, hey. Same thing. Same thing. And then she finally eats to get healthy and loses all the weight. And I was like, you ain't bad. She was like, shit, you don't know me. You want to know? She's like, come on, let's take a walk. They don't know I'm coming from this area. So we walk all through this whole neighborhood in Chicago by where we had the war, when I was, and with the airsoft pistols, And next thing I know, shit, we walking through this, so she tells me that whole story. Oh yeah, somebody in this state had all these kids, and they snatched them up and sent them out here to Chicago, and the way it was, they was looking out. Then when the kids came, they didn't want to look out for us no more. So went in there and poisoned the food that the old people was gonna give the kids, but I guess the poison was still in there. And then the old people ate the poison, and the old people died. So when she went to church, and noticed there wasn't no old people there, she started walking. So she's standing there and noticing people noticing her. So she starts talking through the windows. Hey, I didn't see you at the church, because they knew about her killing the kids, but they brushed it off like, aha, gives a shit. We got insurance money, right? And then me, it was like, you were forced to have these kids. Then it goes, so after all that good shit, I was like, hey, we walked all the way around, and then we walked in front of the police station. We was in front of the police station. I was like, yeah, we made it all the way back to your house. Look at this. So we sitting on the stoop, and she's telling the rest of the story on what she did, how she did it, how many people she killed, blah, 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 blah. And her father was standing there, right? Well, no, OG was standing there and heard everything. I'm just a detective. I went to the police, chose my badge, you need some help. Heard all that stuff. They turned out the lights. She walked in, walks into where she sleeps, which is the cell. Then she turn on the light. Her father's standing there looking at her and shit. She's about to do some fucking time with Virgin 17. They gonna hang her. She ain't never getting out. So the father has a heart attack in front of her, right? Because he's the only thing that's gonna help her out. He has a heart attack. I mean, OG is outside the door talking. So I had to try to manipulate her into thinking that it's all in her imagination, that she been sitting up in the cell, and while she zoned out, she told us all this information, right? So he didn't know who she killed and how she killed it, right? So for all we know, she was like, yeah, his mom, she said no to me. I just went and got his pistol and blew her away, knowing that they wouldn't even check it, right? Let's say she said some shit like that, and that's what gave him a heart attack. So I was looking at him and didn't even look back, and he seen it close the door, and we walk away. Now he's on the other side of the stoop, kicking it where all the kids is, and finally he just chumps it up and said, fuck it, I'm turning myself in. Fakes the kid's death. You coming with me, right? Because the other kid came up, oh, put hands on you. You know who I was, did you? And goes to the jailhouse and stuff, right? And he could have just easily went to the other one. She's still alive, took it. Walk up in that motherfucker's. That's what happened in Chicago. Well, let's think about this young girl. Well, since I was close by her, and at this time in life, I was Mima in her hermaphroditic state, right? I had a cock, had a crotch, giving birth, and a butthole, right? And she was close, and she hadn't been beaten off, or she had not showered, so her dust and my dust is flying. So I guess the girl gets pregnant. Unless she slept on me and got pregnant, and you know who she looked like. So I'm sitting on the stoop, then all of a sudden this girl pop out the blue, and she's like, what is this pain? What is this feeling I'm feeling? And remember, pharmacology got all that medicine, and they was like, I want you to prescribe me medicine. I'm going to prescribe myself medicine, but you don't get no medication. But yet, here goes an ecstasy pill, here goes some motherfucking hardcore marijuana and shit. But no medication that could probably help you. And then whatever that was, she got it. The kid came out. She was like, I will go and get a gun and shoot myself. And didn't know where she went and got the gun. And forgot that on the side from the stoop is the police station. Where the girl's probably sitting there and dookie stink with the gun and shot herself. Girl pops back up, and she don't know why she's going through this pain and bullshit. She just shoots herself. But she doesn't die. Because because I guess that was the sensory of whatever was happening with her moms and shit, right? So I would be the father. You know, well, that's that disease for you. The disease is like, yeah, what I gotta do to stop? Kick out. Huh? What's in that? Not going back. Get your ass back inside. I ain't going through this alone. And that was that. Well, the girl survived, right? So she survived, and next thing I know, she is like, unless she has a twin, right? Because remember, fertility, so there's going to be multiple from the ball and whatever. And this girl did that, and the other girl pops out and starts tripping, blah, 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 blah. Go, get out of here. We don't want you here, blah, blah, blah. But you know, I had relatives, old women and stuff. There was old men and old women there. It was like hardly anybody in any of these houses. It was abandoned and shit. And shit, I think I showed a couple of my kids how to use this aerosol can, right? And what it was, okay, everything is a carbon. It's carbon, right? Chicken, people, diamonds, plants, all carbon, right? Carbon bond, chemical bond, and then got an aggregate, which is this air compressor in a can, and the ball in there is the piston. So I shake it up and spray out, you know, shake it up like, oh, some chicken. And then all of a sudden start spraying, and here plops out a chicken. Boom. The carbon bond of whatever. You know, whatever I'm looking for. Just like spray paint, right? We tagged all over New York in the Bronx. But we had aerosol cans and wrote it off as, and in Chicago, and wrote it off as, right, remember they were assholes and shit. You know, where my sons, I showed them how to tag too. And that was one of the dudes up on a sleepaway camp, right? That's why you seen him. He was like, I'm creating art, but yet he did not have an aerosol can. He had an aerosol can, and it was clear spray. And then all of a sudden, yellow started coming out. And that's where I got the food, right? So the old man was there, about 7,000 some odd people. And the old man was there, and I noticed him sitting outside. He was outside of the on the stoop where I had the kids, the 10 kids, and he was sitting outside the stoop. And I noticed that he was like a crystalline. He knew how to change the bronze or whatnot. So I echolocated and noticed that I seen him still alive in the red. Used the can to spray something underneath him and pulled him in. And then made a big meal, something for him to eat and stuff, right? He was there kicking it, and everything's going good until he didn't like the way I was raising my kids and started putting in 2 cents and shit, right? And, oh shit, I'll just go somewhere else, right? So when the snow stopped, we broke off and went somewhere else, and he was there up in his house, and when he woke up, he was like, whoa. So I had to do this. I couldn't just be like, where did I get this stuff from? I couldn't say I just sprayed it out of nowhere with chemistry. Right, you throw up, you circle it, you start spinning circles in it, and then you got these carbon bubbles popping up. And say you need 3 carbon bubbles to make a string. or a certain type of string and a certain polymer, and then you take these bubbles and you connect each one of these bubbles, and once you get done connecting these bubbles in that same way, next thing you know, you have this long strand that turns into a string, and all of a sudden you got a bond there in that same way. But without that, hey, there's enough chemicals up in the air, and I'm boom, need a Bonneville 2.5, make up something, and then the can it just starts spraying, and because the vibrations from you hitting the can will be like, and you'll just go across the lines all the way. Right. So, like I said, broke off, not with them, took off, and my kids are still there. One of my sons, he was stuck outside. I guess they was trying to, like, oh, this is my corner, this is my spot. What he didn't get is he couldn't move because the last time I seen him, I told him, chill right there, don't go nowhere, I'll be back. And then some bullshit happened, and they wouldn't let me go get him, and he was there. Then when they finally found him, one of his arms was frostbit. They literally put me in jail, is what I'm saying, getting flicked. So they put me in jail. But it's already too late. After I get out, they done been through so many cold winters. Ain't no giving a fuck. It's all about survival, right? And that's how they did it, right? Hey, you got something, you ain't doing nothing. Hey, somebody just came in here and said you went outside and robbed places. I don't even have enough energy to get up. Well, too late. You lost. Throwing you in jail. And he pop out, oh, you abandoned your kids. Next thing you know, my face is cracked. I got a different face. I'm up in Canada and find my kids. Same ones that have been kidnapped and other ones that know who I am. But it's from my balls. You understand? It's like the Austrian accent, quantum physics, that weird ass English accent. You know. Hopefully he out here and alright and shit. Multiple. Right will be the ones that it's like, oh shit. I went around and checked to make sure everybody was alright. You know, when I was tossing up the BD, everybody was alright and stuff. Spray that motherfucker and make it not. Wait. Right. But yeah, so did I. I had one arm and I learned how to tap a pistol. And then I thought about it and was like, you know, I got flesh tucked in and this bone is just showing. Let me go ahead and tap this motherfucker. Get some bone meal, make me a fucking arm. Perfect, did the measurements, did the math. It's a solid ass arm, it's a solid ass bone. Tap it, put it in there perfectly. Loctite it. Roll the flesh over it. Roll the hand over. Turn it over. Stable. Stable as soak. Let it heal. Right? Because we're all gelatinous. And what does the body do? It's the muscles that move the bone. And I didn't want to do that if I didn't want to hurt him or nothing, because, you know, because this is what I did. Even though it's on the other arm. This is what I did, because my left arm was gone. So I tapped that motherfucker. I put some, like some cellulose paper that I made that was that the flesh would, the body on the inside would eat the cellulose to help produce fat. And then from the fat, I could produce muscle. Right? Plus needed something to cover the bone to give it space to gain shit. And just untucked my skin and rolled it out on him. Yeah, I was like, you gonna amputate? Well then, pull that motherfucker out and roll my skin and stuff and shit. I'll roll that shit out, man. Tap. Biggest problem was my knee. So I was up in New York, and like I said, I popped back up, and old man popped up. And like I said, like the FBI, he used to work, so they said, hey, he must have put on there, this is the house to go to. So they kept dropping me off, and I'm sitting there, and he's like, man, blah, 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 you bound to lose a foot. And I was like, stuck my foot out. I was like, hey, there it is, there it goes, guess I ain't going nowhere. We went up to New York, and this is the tower shit, right? Controlled demolition. Everybody knew, they all evacuated. And the only people that was around was the people that was like, if we get one speck of dust inside our lung, we're getting paid. New York is automatically gonna pay out. And then notice, hey, when the building came down, there's a whole bunch of body parts sitting right there. Then I went to the body parts and was like, damn, if these don't look like my arms and my goddamn legs. And I started finding and found this, it looked like a robot leg, but it was a parasite leg, right? And put it on, and it kicked me all the way over to Nova Scotia. Because right there was a line, and it was perfectly no dust past it. You know what I mean? Right, I was supposed to say something. And all that other stuff. So after that situation and shit, had that leg, then like I did my arm, made that shit, tapped it, you know, balled out the knee. I balled it out, and then I grooved it on the other knee and made a locket, right? But I didn't get to finish, right? Because I would have took red blood cells and took the white blood cells and injected the white blood cells where they needed to be to grow the cartilage, to become the nerves, the cartilage, whatever need be, right? I heard there's a procedure where they can inject white blood cells into the kneecap and possibly grow it back. Well, you know, as a little kid trying to get back, and the bear, well, you know that one movie, The Ravage, where the dude's getting beat up by the bear. Well, they have footage and they digitally edited him out, and it was me who was getting bit, and it was a bear suit, you know, like the bear scene in that Anchor movie. And this woman in the bear suit bit onto me and punctured something, and I'm bleeding, and she's trying to see if I have her DNA and she hit a mechanism, right? The Chucky suit. I put a mechanism in that motherfucker just in case. You know, and so there's a mechanism on there, and she bit it, and she kept on squeezing it. It was right there by the parallel. That long ass fucking stick from Canada to the U.S. That tree before the person kidnapped me and brought me to Canada, seen me on the edge trying to cross, brought me back and kicked it over. Well, she bit and activated the mechanism. I couldn't have stopped it, and the mechanism happened, and the arms crushed it and threw it. The reason I said that, if you watch Jason Goes to Hell, listen to what the coroner, listen to what the people are saying. Thinking the guy in the glasses. It's Lord. Last time I seen him was on sitting behind me at the bus stop. Exactly. Right. So I'm looking at the land of the lost, and I'm looking at Son's fingers, and they look werewolfish, but they look werewolfish, and they're long, and then they look curved. Then I looked away, and I looked at my hand, and now I got this cut on my hand, and thought of her. So I hope she's all right. Every daydream I had of her was just like the Bride of Chucky with the 2017 tweak was a daydream. She dug into the valley, into the mountain a little bit, trying to get up. They had some stuff. So I popped up and tried to wheeled her back up the mountain. Right. Of course, it was this woman. This is the woman, just like Farquaad and stuff, that wrote up the Bobby. And he was like, "You ain't supposed to be here." She was on vacation. She just wanted to make sure he was going to say the right stuff. People took it the wrong way. According to the feeling, seems to be fiberglassy. Meaning the bear must have been made out of some type of fiberglass. Right. So when we got there, the female walked me across the parallel after the drive in the brown car, where he pulled up at this place, went down the hill, and when I came back driving the brown car, they decided to follow me here. Ugh. We gonna touch some boys so we can get shot in the head and turn into girls. Then, the dragon. Itchy, very itchy. Why do you sound like the botanist, ma'am? The one that had my original head and shit. No. I don't know. That was up to her to tell me. She didn't tell me. The remaker? Right, well, you know, you had to have killed somebody to do that. Now, the weird shit it goes, hey, we're old people. We're trying to live forever. Hey, we're young. Hey, you might not survive it. And then it's like, why didn't you die? It was like, hey, we was doing just perfectly fine. You come and took our food. One of us died. You're trying to teach me a lesson. You know? And then on top of that, it's like, hey, so if they have vasectomies and tubes tied, the fuck they got kids, and what the fuck is he doing to moms and greats and whatever the hell? So that was my childhood and shit. Odd how I found a portal through all the pain and shit, right? Hey, cross it. Put you in back with some dogs. Not just any dogs. Hey, transfer your money. Hey, we put you in some dogs, a dog fight, kid. Hey, we dropped the dogs off to you. They lost. I was gonna heal. Them dogs wasn't gonna heal. So I used my flesh to mend their bones. They're just babies. It's one thing to have to take the pain and get used to it. Another thing not to want to take the pain. Then these people popped up. Hey. Same ones. We had the first marijuana seed. We had the first dog and she wants it back. For the brown check. Same royal scene. Got out of there like at 4, right? Just to get beat up and sent back to do the flicks. Oh, in somebody else's face. Oh, just touched down, just got back. Then what happened? Oh, werewolf, gas station, baby screaming for help. I didn't look dark anymore, did I? Backwards L. No, that was the first one, right? I'm fighting that one. And who was that person? Gas pump attendant, but he was dark. He was black. He wasn't white. Him was black. Then after that, this song popped up. It's like when the old first place. It was in South Carolina. Some sky shit, and was like, I started singing, How was that? Guo, you know. It just turns to some stressful shit, right? Went through all this bullshit. It's like, man, I ain't got to explain it. I don't want to explain it. Then once you do explain it, it's like, who gives a shit? And people are envious because you find out, talk a big game, but we ain't did that shit. It's like, hey, we went through some training, we did some exercise, got to talk some good game. Bam, that's about it. 10 years later, that's about it. Hey, you need to bow down, blah, 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 and all this stuff, man. If you know what I just came from doing. Let's keep it 100. Hey, what was that talk? CIA uses kids to heroin. The Ranch, North Carolina. Oh. Hey, Ira Kara, 84ish. Well, they came out in 84, but you know, transvestite song. Well, I'm gonna need this. Here's some drugs, sex. You probably like, she's a CIA operative. Look. Then the the heroin got me over here in Afghanistan or wherever they crops was grown, and I sat there and did all kinds of drugs until I felt like I didn't want to do drugs anymore and just went home and left one blue bulb that I made, the blue bulb. It's like death, basically. And that was that. After all that shit happened, everything went on in my life and shit. And then just to find out, you're still a kid. It's like, hey, this is not even a fucking month. This is not even a fucking 2 years life. This is still an infant baby because you're a liability. We could just get rid of you. You're just some stank somewhere. Then here's the contradiction. Aha, you actually survived. Do you remember the foods that y'all seem to be claiming as a race thing, right? Wrote the Apache code, did digital, all the way up to the internet and shit. Then all of a sudden, here comes some people that started trying to claim Native American. Couldn't do shit because they're not black. And they're like, oh, he calls it Apache. Oh, this is ours. Heritage. Unless you could prove otherwise. Hey, Mexican food. Hey, Holmes, this is ours. Heritage. I created the Mexican people. Whoa. I created American cuisines that you think is Mexican cuisines. I created the flour tortilla. nachos, taco. I've been to Spain. Have you ever been somewhere where they got a lot of russets and they got them potato carts? Yeah. Don't worry, be happy. I've been to other places. I use the grip of pen names. But the thing with my pen names, I use the same registration under the same name. You know? To protect myself from being found, stalked, whatever the fuck. Hey, you're the judge who did it, but I'm looking for judge. Bottle cap holder. My arch nemesis found me. Soda pop cap. So this is basically called harassment. It's blackmail too. I heard this lady in the background talking. Then I heard, if you release your personal shit, you can't stop that. It goes to someone else. So please tell me this is not a... You started talking about judging. Let me deliberately stop you from recording yourself. You're not live. You're recording yourself doing your counseling thing. Surreptitiously. And it's called eavesdropping, right? Hey, man. Hey. Yeah. And y'all can't use it. Hey, I wrote that. I have a right to my right in this state. I wrote that. That's my state constitutional right. Bicycle. Electric bicycle.